Hey guys, so this is the next in my series of Halloween videos for 2012, and this one is my own personal take on a sugar skull. I have adored sugar skulls since I first saw them. I first saw them about 5 years ago when somebody on a web community that I was part of called tribe.net posted a picture of one, and I just thought that they were so beautiful. It was a Sylvia J painting. It was the first time I'd seen anything like it, and I just thought it was stunningly beautiful. Not long after I first saw it, then the first Halloween tutorial came out for it, and then the next year everybody did one. So I just, thought there wasn't really much point doing one because there's so many people that have done them and done really beautiful ones. But I just decided this year to screw it because I love them so much. I wanted to do my own take on one. So this is a sugar skull with a bit of a twist. The idea is that my skin has fractured or cracked or shattered and fallen away, and underneath it you can see where my sugar skull is. So perhaps that's like part of my spirit or a part of my essence for when I join the dead. I'm not sure. I haven't thought it through all the way. So it took a really long time to do. I would suggest if you want to do a look like this that you allow plenty of time to do it. I had issues with my computer and my memory card not agreeing with each other. Now that I've done it once, there are always ways that I would improve it to make it a little bit faster. You could probably stop somewhere along the way if you don't like the crackles on the skin. You could definitely stop just shy of those and just leave them out if you didn't like them and they have the shattered skin. But I think maybe you don't need to do quite as much as I've done, but I think that you'd need to do at least one or two just to link it in with everything. Anyway, I hope that you like it. Please feel free to rate, comment and subscribe. I really appreciate it, and I love hearing feedback from everybody and just knowing that you guys like my videos. You can also join me on my Facebook page under alchemymakeupartistry.com, and I am also on Twitter. So if you have Twitter, maybe you can teach me how to use it because I don't really understand it. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this look, and please remember to rate, comment and subscribe. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this look. Thanks, bye. Let's make this the revised version. Just so you know, I went back in with some of the darker, I went back in with some black eyeshadow right underneath and just gave it a little bit more depth because it wasn't jumping out and looking like it was under the skin as much as I wanted it to. So yeah, that's the revised version. Alright. If you have sensitive skin, you can apply a barrier cream. The one that I'm using is called Derma Shield. It comes out like a foam and you just rub it into your skin. Apply that all over. Then take a white eyeliner and draw in where you'd like your cracks to be, just so that you know where to paint and where not to. I'm then taking a foundation brush and just applying a foundation everywhere that I don't want my sugar skull to be showing through. To speed up the application, I'm using a large foundation brush and going in on the large areas. I'm going to be taking a small flat concealer brush to go around the edges to make sure that I don't go over the lines. If you do go into the area that you want to keep white, you can go in with a face wipe and just clean these up. Set the foundation with a powder. Now fill in the areas of the sugar skull with a white foundation. I'm using some Ben Nye Clown White mixed in with a little bit of Illamasqua's white skin base, but you can use a white face paint or a cream product, anything you have. Do the same thing, applying it in the large areas first with a big brush, and then going in with a clean concealer brush with a square edge to get along the edges. Take your time with this and use the edge of your brush to give a nice sharp line. I'm setting the white with a white setting powder by Illamasqua, and I find that this really improves the longevity of the colour as well as helping intensify the white. On my eyes, I'm doing a similar look to my Men of the Night's Watch Game of Thrones tutorial. Whatever look you do, make sure you follow through on whatever part of the eye is visible. Fill in the black of your eye using a gel liner. The one that I'm using is Black Track by MAC. This is going to help deepen your eye colour as well as giving the pigment something to stick to. I'm going over top of the gel liner with a matte black eyeshadow. This is going to deepen the colour as well as set it. I'm then going to go over top of it with a midnight blue. You can use whatever colour you'd like to use in your sugar skull. To save yourself a bit of time, you can take a small domed brush in the size that you like for the detail around the outside edge. Load it up with your chosen colour and then press it around the outside like a stamp. Have a brush in the shape or size that you'd like to use. You can take a cheap one and just cut it to the right shape. If you have a broken area on the other side that would show the same pattern, repeat the same process. Fill it in with a gel liner and then go over it with your eyeshadows. To fill in the detail around the outside edge and to add a bit of interest, I mixed a metallic pigment in with a mixing medium and then a fine brush to trace around the outline. I'm using a light coloured matte blue eyeshadow to give myself a little bit of contour under my cheeks and in my temples. Make sure to do the same thing on the other side if it's going to be visible as well. If it's a bit too bright for you, you can add a little bit of grey just to tone it down slightly. Take an angle brush and use a matte coloured brown eyeshadow and work your way along the edges of the white. I'm then taking a light coloured matte eyeshadow and going around the outside of the dark brown. This is just going to add a little bit more dimension to the outside of the skin. To add dimension to the inside of the cracked skin, you can go in with a black or grey eyeliner or eyeshadow. Rather than using the same colour all the way around the outside, try to think of highlight and shadow. Which areas would be hit by more light and which ones would cast more of a shadow? Where the light might hit, you can use a slightly lighter grey, and where the shadow might be cast, you can use a darker grey or black. Blend out these colours so that the colour doesn't suddenly stop. To give a clearer and sharper edge, I took a very fine mini angle brush and dipped that into the black gel liner and then very delicately drew around the outside edges. I used a white eyeliner to draw in the shape that I wanted to fill in on my chin. This won't mess up the white paint and should be just enough for you to see the outline. I then filled it in with a red cream colour and then pressed a red eyeshadow over top. I kept these colours matte. I then used a mixing medium and a gold pigment, the same as I did on my eye, and outlined the flower. The metallic finish gives a really nice contrast to the matte colour. I used a fine brush and the gel liner again to draw the line from my lips up to my ear and for the teeth. You could also use a sharp eyeliner or a liquid liner. Fill in the corners of the teeth to give them a slightly rounded shape. Try to match up your lines and your markings and keep them as symmetrical as you can. Imagine where it would emerge from your skin and fill it in from there. Try to use a mirror to keep things as symmetrical as possible. Have fun with your embellishments and play with different colours. If you're stuck for ideas, look up Sugar Skull on the internet. You'll find heaps of different things you can try. Whatever designs you decide to do, if the same area of skin is visible on the other side, try to match up your embellishment so that there's a bit of continuity going on all around. I decided to go for a spider's web for the design on my forehead. I put a small dot on the centre of my forehead, really faint, just enough so that I can see it. It'll be easily rubbed away when I'm finished. This I can use as a reference point, so that I have a centre for all of the lines of my web. I find the easiest way to do this is to actually map out the motion even if you're not touching the brush to your skin. This way you can see exactly where you want your line to go and don't just draw them in for the sake of drawing them. You can do semicircles or small C's to link up the web. Remember to fan these ones out from the starting point as well. Make sure to add some shading into your web. Without it, it will just look like you've drawn a whole lot of lines on your forehead. The shading pulls everything together and keeps it looking nice and neat, as well as adding a bit more depth and dimension. I filled in my lip with a bright red lipstick on the normal half of my face. For the cracks and fractures of your shattered skin, you can either use a brown or a grey matte eyeshadow. You can do as many or as few cracks as you like. I wanted it to look like my skin was really shattered and breaking, so I did quite a lot, but if you find this too much, you could just do 1 or 2 coming up from the jagged edges of your pieces. I took a fluffy blending brush and I went in with a colour a few shades darker than my skin tone, in between my cracks. This just helps to give your skin a slightly more jagged and uneven texture. I went around the edges of my cracks with a colour a few shades lighter than my normal skin tone. This just makes them pop out a little bit more. I went away and looked at it in a different light, and found that it was a little bit flatter than I wanted it to be. So I went back in with a black eyeshadow and deepened some areas a little bit more. This just makes it look slightly more three-dimensional. And that's the whole look, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you do, please make sure to rate, comment and subscribe. I really enjoy getting feedback from people. You can also follow me on my Facebook page under Alchemy Makeup Artistry. Take care and have a happy Halloween! There's something else I was going to say. I thought it's 2:30 in the morning. I've completely lost all sense of sanity. I'm talking nonsense. I can't talk. I've been talking to myself for a little while. I'm gonna go now. Bye.